You had a big win your last game. DePaul's coming off a tough loss. Where is the emotional strike between the two?
Well, I think coming into a game like this, we know every year this is a game we both look forward to. So, I'd be very surprised if both teams didn't have incredible energy. But we know we're going to get their best. They had a really tough first half. It happens. They almost walked them down and won the game. They played much better in the second half. But Coach Holtman, I've competed against him for a long time. I know he's going to have those guys ready. They're going to play hard. They're talented. They're a lot more athletic and talented than they've been the last couple years. And they're going to be excited to play at home. And, I think both of us, I've talked about it a lot when we've played Illinois, right? I think both of us, DePaul and Northwestern, as we're growing our programs, we like the fact of hopefully making this a little bit of a inner city rivalry type game, and I think to do that, both teams have to be good teams. Both teams are getting better. And I know we've always viewed it that way, and I know they're going to do the same. So I think our guys understand what's ahead of them. It's a long season, the ebbs and flows. You have good games, you have bad games, and you got to come back the next, and it's a new game. So I think that's the way we're approaching it.
How about it being a road test, even though it's close to home?
Yeah, it's going to be important for us. I expect there to be good energy in the building. If you want to have the kind of season that you aspire to with your goals and being relevant at the end of the year, you have to find a way to win on the road against good teams. So it's going to be a really good test for our team. I think our guys are excited about it. We've had a couple good days of preparation and anxious to get out there and play.
How important is it with your players that you just got into your system, Jayden and Arlington, those players like that?
Yeah, I think we're still a work in progress, even though we've had some success early. I still think the players are figuring out each other. I still think the staff's figuring out the players. And like I tell the guys all the time, like we want to keep getting better and evolving as a team, but you want to learn by winning and not have to learn hard lessons. So, I think we're going to keep getting better. The more we learn about these guys, I think they're getting more comfortable. I think for me, I've talked about it a lot, getting more comfortable with playing more guys and kind of keeping guys fresher. And, that's been new to us and something that I like. I like having more depth and more athleticism, more talent, and hopefully over the course of the year that'll pay dividends. So I'm still learning about our guys and rotations and like I said, game to game too, different guys are stepping up. We saw it every game. You can see examples of a couple guys. We saw Justin last game really step up, 16 points. Max Green doesn't play in the first half, 16 in the second. So I think you're going to see that all year long with a lot of our guys. I think we have a lot of good players that can help, and from a game-to-game basis, we'll see kind of who has it going.
Looking at margin of victory, this is not only the most dominant start Northwestern has had in your time here, but in program history. What do you just credit that to?
I really credit the players, their sense of urgency. We've really challenged them to, first and foremost, respect everybody we play. I think you look across the country, if you're not ready to play, anyone can beat anyone on a given night. And, I think some of it has to do with, too, we've had a lot of capable guys that when we've gone to the bench, the level of play has remained the same. And our starters have played really well, but, we've had great bench contributions and guys who, want to play more. And so in order to do that, they know they got to play better. So they got to play well. So, I think part of that has to do with just having more guys as well and hopefully committing to the defense. The first two opponents, I think, was right around 50 last game. They just over 60. And if we can keep that going, that'll be a good recipe for us.
Coach, when you look at Arrington and what he did in his previous stops in Cincinnati and USC, you could see the paint presence, the defense, the rebounding, but the scoring wasn't quite as developed as it seems to be here.
Yeah.
What have you seen as kind of the difference in his approach that has really made him be scoring the ball at such a high rate this season?
Yeah, I think one of the things is he's comfortable and he understands that he's needed, and that's no knock on the other places. I think he was at places where he either came off the bench or his role was different, where he came in the game and you might press a little bit more, or try to make things happen. And he knows we need him. He knows he's got to be an anchor for us offensively, defensively. He's getting the ball a lot. He's touching the ball, and we saw, his skill set. He can step out and make a three. He can handle the ball. He's a good passer. He can score on the block. He's finishing above the rim with some lobs. job. So, and he's continuing to learn how to play off Nick and Jayden and some of these other guys, and learning how to get some easy baskets. So hopefully the more he plays and the more confident he gets in this role, he can kind of be that consistent double-figure guy, because I think he's capable. I mean, he's got the talent. Now it's just, can we string that consistency together, especially as we kind of level up with competition.
Is there a specific part of your system that you think really maximizes him?
I think first and foremost, some of the pace, his ability to run. I think you're seeing him get out and get 2 or 3 easy baskets in transition. And I think playing off Nick. I mean, we talk to all of our players. I mean, Nick draws so much attention with extra guy and extra help. If you can find the right spots and space the right way around him, you can get easy opportunities, and so I think those things in particular, and I think we're learning how to use them too. The more, we don't really have all of our offensive system in. We kind of develop that as the season goes along, and I think the more he shows, kind of the more wrinkles we can put him in to get him the ball in the post, to get him the ball at the elbows in areas where he can be successful.
Coach, 3 games into the season, what surprised you most about your team?
I think a lot has surprised me because there was so much newness, right? I mean, with 8 new players and a majority of the returning guys kind of being in lesser roles last year, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I felt good about the talent. I felt the returning guys had good summers. Had no idea what to expect with 5 freshmen and 3 transfers until you get them here on a daily basis. So I think the way the cohesion, the way the chemistry has been built, as quickly as it has, is a great testament to our returning players. And you can see our guys enjoy playing with one another. Even though there's a lot of guys who think they can score and make plays, we've been an unselfish group. I mean, 26 assists in our last game. We've been very unselfish. We have to continue that. And when I keep preaching to the guys, we have to be unselfish with our minutes too, because there's going to be nights where, like the other night, Max really gets it going. Of course, you're going to keep him in the game. Right? Justin gets it going, you're going to keep him in the game. So I think we got to be unselfish and team first with that as we go along, because I think we got a lot of guys capable of helping.
Every coach in America probably wants a guy like Angelo Cherovino, 6'6", who can kind of, play off the bounce and play defense. Just how valuable do you think he is to kind of complement, Nick, AP, Jayden, Reid?
Yeah, I think he's done a great job, complimenting those guys. Angelo's a terrific athlete. I think his added strength has been a game changer. Last year he had the athleticism and the pop, but he just wasn't strong enough. He was losing a lot of physical battles on cuts, on defensive assignments, things like that. He got in the weight room. He gained 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. He's playing a lot stronger this year. He's playing through contact. And because we're playing a little bit faster, it's really helped him as well. It's allowed him to kind of use his speed in the open floor and be that slasher, that cutter. He's taken his open shot with confidence and shown he can make an open 3, and he's been a good defender. So I really like him with that first group, just because I think he complements with the other guys perfectly.
Coach, I wanted to ask about Trey Singleton. Obviously, in lineups where he's next to Aaron Tan and Nick, he's typically had to guard someone who's smaller than him, and so far we've seen a little bit of the foul trouble come with that. How have you worked with him, coaching him on the defensive end in that regard? Yeah,
just a freshman learning. I was really pleased. I thought the second half was great for Trey. He was a little bit snake bit in the last couple games. He had a couple shots in and out. He missed some free throws, missed a couple shots around the lane. You could see offensively he was starting to get a little bit frustrated. Shots he normally makes didn't go in, and then he had a big second half. He's able to play with force, get to the basket, hit a corner 3, make some free throws. So I think he's settling down offensively. I think defensively it's about learning how to be physical without fouling. I think there's times when he's been a little bit overboard with, putting hands on ball handlers, chucking guys off the ball. And I think that's just part of being a freshman. So that's where the film sessions are great. Every time we have a game, our guys watch individual film with coaches. We have team film sessions. We kind of talk through those situations. And you hope with all the freshmen, the more they play, they just gain that experience and they kind of learn how to play without fouling.
It seems like a lot of those times you're coaching him up pretty hard on the side after he comes off. What is that experience like of just kind of coaching him up and his receptiveness to learning more?
Yeah, I mean, Trey's super coachable, and all our guys are. I mean, that's why, we tell these guys that's the culture of our program. I mean, we owe it to these guys to coach them, right? They come in as high school players. They're not finished products. So you have to coach them up. You have to help them learn. You have to help them get better. Just like we're the first ones to give them hugs and put our arms around them when they do well. And so, Trey has an opportunity to be an outstanding player. I think we all see that. So we want to pour everything we can into him to try to speed that process up as quickly as we can.
Coach, you officially signed Jayden yesterday. Talk us through what his recruiting process was like and what you saw in him that made you confident he was the right fit for this program.
Yeah, I mean, fit is everything for us, and I think it's something we've really focused on here, especially in the last 5-6 years in our program. The guys that really not only are talented guys, but fit what we do. And Jayden was a guy right away when we saw him in high school and in the AAU circuit. He just fit everything we look for. I mean, he's a physical guard. He's very versatile. He can handle the ball. He can go inside. Multi-positional defender. Winning guy. He has international experience growing up in Belgium. So he's been around it. His dad was a terrific player, so he's been around the game his whole life. And he's a great guy, high character, team first kind of guy. So right away, we locked in on him being a high priority and building the relationship, following up, watching him, kind of showing him how he would fit in. I think for him to see a guy like Brooks Barnhizer, I think he's a little bit like a Brooks. I mean, they're different type players, but kind of the things he can bring to the table remind me a lot of Brooks. And I think seeing the success that Brooks had here and the way he developed and what he's doing now, I think was really appealing to Jayden. And, I think he sees our young core too. And, we feel like he's a perfect fit with our young group as we move forward after this year.
You mentioned it a bit briefly earlier, but fourth consecutive year going to DePaul, 10th time that you're going to be facing them. Could you just talk a little bit about that crosstown rivalry and why you want to continue playing them year in and year out?
Yeah, I think it's a great game for both teams. I think they felt like that. I've always felt like that. I think it's a terrific game to play. It's a local game. We've always played it around the holidays. Mostly it's been near Christmas, this year close to Thanksgiving. But it's always drawn well. There's a good energy, two local teams that are both high major programs. And I just think it makes sense for us in a lot of ways. And I think both of us, Coach Holtman's going to do nothing but get that program, continue to get better every year. And he's someone I've admired in coaching. I competed against him when he was at Butler and Ohio State and now DePaul. And, I think the better that both of our programs can get, it makes it an even more appealing game as we improve.
All right, that wraps up the coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Jayden, what's it been like with these first 3 games, and then now you go on the road, but this is kind of like an inter-city rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to be a part of. Obviously, this is my first year, so I was not a part of these rivalry games, I guess, but, all the talk about it, the Chicago matchup, Big East team, our first high major game, it's definitely exciting, especially for me just being here, knowing the history of Northwestern and Chicago sports. It's definitely a fun environment to play in.
How has the transition been for you, coming from another school to come here and make it a mark?
The transition has been smooth for me. The coaches are great. My teammates are great. Everybody around the whole university is great. Professors, academics, everything has been great for me. I'm just blessed, thankful that I got this opportunity. I'm just trying to do my best to cherish it.
How much does Nick matter to you guys, especially because he's been here a long time?
Yeah.
He's also the leader on this team.
Nick is important. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the nation, 20-point per game scorer, leader, captain. He's been here for 4 years. He grew up around Northwestern, so he bleeds this place. And just looking up to him, kind of like me being here for the first year, just seeing how he works, seeing the culture, seeing how he goes about his work has been very important to us. Not only me, but the whole team, the freshmen, and the other transfers as well.
19 assists, 2 turnovers this year for you. What's been your key to just taking care of the ball? Something that Coach Collins preaches.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Collins, he hates turnovers. So obviously, me just being better. Last year, I think I averaged about 2.5. Me just being more cognizant about it, making the right plays, but also, I'm a risky player. I'm going to throw some crazy passes here and there, but just being calculated with it. If I get one, knowing, that's it for the rest of the night. So just taking pride in taking care of the ball, making the game easy, hitting singles, not always home run plays. So, yeah.
What can you say about the team's offensive outbreak Monday night, scoring 110 points, making 41 shots from the field?
Yeah, I mean, that was the first game we did it, but I feel like we're capable of that, throughout the season, no matter who we're playing against. We have so many great players, so many weapons, elite coaching and game plans. So, it's going to be hard to stop us. I feel like, obviously, Nick is demanding most of the attention throughout the game. Now we have a presence in AP down low that can run, step outside, and shoot. Trey's amazing. He's only getting more comfortable as the season going on. And then you got a bunch of shooters and wings players that could also do the same thing. KJ and Max, elite shooters. Jake as well. So like we have a lot of people that could go for 10 points plus on any given night, which makes it hard to scout and guard.
Jayden, you've thrown a couple lobs so far. What's it like playing with a guy like AP and just how you guys have developed your relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I love to play like that. I love sharing the ball, seeing my teammates, get highlight plays and things like that, hype up the crowd, talk to the fans and stuff like that. So I feel like it's just fun for me, just being out there throwing lobs, throwing no-look passes, and they're dunking the ball, and then the fans are hyped, the crowd's involved. It just brings joy out there.
Jayden, I wanted to ask about your relationship with VJ Edgecombe. We saw him out the Welsh
Yeah.
tonight supporting you.
Yeah.
What's the relationship with him like, and what have you made to start?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of my closest friends. I only got to play with him 1 year in high school, my senior year. It was probably one of my best years. Basketball-wise, we were number 2 in the nation behind Montverde Academy, which you guys probably all know. And that year was just, like, special to me. I feel like that year is what ultimately got me to here, obviously got me to college, things like that. We were, like, one of the best backcourts in the nation, I guess you would say, and our connection just got stronger. When I went to college, I always talked to him, even though he was still at Lehigh, and every summer we both go back to Lehigh, work out, play with each other, and we always stay in constant communication. So when I seen he played out here, he texted me, actually, and then he was like, "Oh, what you guys doing?" I was like, "We got our first game, actually." He was like, "Damn, I'm there." And then he had the game the next day at Philly. I went to go watch them, so it was just full circle moment right there.
Sharing the backcourt with Angelo Sciarvino, what can you say about how you two really complement each other?
It's fun. Me and Jello are like hella close off the court, so it's just only more fun on the court. He's a great defender, athletic, that goes into like throwing lobs and things like that to him, which also it's just fun out there with Jello. Jello's a better shooter this year as well, so he's making jump shots, and we're both on the same page 99% of the time. So knowing what he's thinking, knowing what I'm thinking, we're able to connect and things like that is good.
Looking forward to your matchup against DePaul. Obviously, Buffalo was really able to limit them in the first half.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that they did to really shut down DePaul that you think you guys could apply to your game?
Yeah, just sticking to our principles, being early on help side. Obviously, they have a lot of drivers. Gunn is their best player, so keying in on guys like Gunn, the big fella Benson, and obviously Blocker is a good PG, which is going to be my matchup. Just locking in on their best players, taking them away. I feel like the offense is going to come for us no matter who we play. We got a lot of good players, like I said before. Just defensively and rebounding, I think, are the two things that are going to, really allow us to open up the game.
Leading to high major play with a lot of tests on the road, how do you feel like you and the rest of the team are trying to progress?
Yeah, I mean, we're just excited for it. Obviously, I came from a mid-major program. I didn't have a lot of high major opportunities. We played like 1 or 2 non-conference games, but now it's every night for us. Obviously, this stretch of game we have, I think it's like 6 in a row of high major opponents. We're just really looking forward to it. We got a lot of guys that have something to prove, that play with a chip on their shoulder, and most nights we're going to be underdogs. So just going out there and just beating the odds, I think is a fun test for us.
I think one of the things that a lot of people have been talking about is really what your speed has brought to the court on both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
Just want to ask, did you run track in high school, or has that specifically been on the basketball?
No, I never ran track. One of my best friends, Namir Robinson, his dad Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson's brother is a track coach, and I stay in Seattle in the summers, and I was training track, I guess, doing some track movements, but I never officially ran track. But I definitely got some track workouts in, I guess you could say, speed and agility workouts. So.
Did you ever get like a 40-yard dash time or a 100-yard time?
I mean, playing around, nothing crazy. I think I ran like a 4.6 one time. That was my fastest, but it was like unofficial, just playing around. So yeah. Yep, thank you.
Like this game is important because it's on the road, but it's also you and DePaul, to enter this Chicago atmosphere. What does it mean to you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game that I've played in, going to be my 4th year playing in it, and yeah, it's just awesome to, a lot of those guys because they're around, and you go to pick up games and stuff, and you see them, and yeah, it's just, as all of our games are, this is a game that we need to win, and we know how important it is, and we know how, good they are. They have a ton of talent, and we're going to have to come ready to play.
How much is the first 3 games, being able to win those games, last one decisively, kind of gelled this team somewhat?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, the last 2 games have been great, but I think, it all starts with practice habits. I think we've been practicing well. We've been working our butts off, and I think it all started, in the summer when, guys were just putting in extra work and doing the things that needed to be done to try to get on the court and help this team out.
What's it been like for you to be the glue of this team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know necessarily if I'm the glue of this team. I think we have a lot of pieces that make up the body of this team, and everybody plays their role, and when everyone does their role, we make up a full body, and I think that's just the great part of having a team like this. We have so many guys that just want to do their job, that understand their roles well, and we got to keep building on it.
Obviously, it's just 3 games in, but what do you think makes this team maybe different or distinct from the other teams you've had while here?
Yeah, I mean, just the pace, I think, you guys have seen it. JR is just a game changer. You throw him the ball, and he's down the court in 3 seconds. So, yeah, just having him, and then AP, just a freak athlete who's super skilled, I think those 2 guys really make a huge difference. And then you guys obviously saw the jump that Jello's made. Yeah, it's awesome to see it. You see all the work that's put in. I've said it many times that we were here together in the summer when everyone was home, and just got to see how hard he wanted, to work, and how much he wanted to put into making a big impact on this team.
Nick, it seemed like last year, after a lot of the injuries went down, that teams were really keying in on you. But I mean, so far this year, it's only been 3 games, but it seems like you've had a lot more room to operate in kind of your bread and butter space on the floor. How has playing with guys like Jayden and AP really helped you, flourish in your own game to start the year?
100%. I mean, obviously, we have so much offensive firepower this year, and it's great to to have this operating space, and if the doubles come, they're going to find out real quick, what type of team we got, what type of guys we got. So yeah, it's been great.
Nick, your first 3 years you played with a pretty consistent core, Brooks, Todd, Matt. Does it ever feel strange just looking ahead and not seeing those guys and seeing all these new faces?
I mean, at first, yes. I mean, I was just so involved in all of, especially the transfers, the guys that we brought in, their recruitment, and getting to know the guys, the freshmen, when they were on visits last year and years before. So putting this team together, obviously the coaches did a great job, but I wanted to be, a part of it. I wanted to make sure not only that they would fit into our scheme on the court, but be a part of this family that we have. You guys can see, over the years, just the family that this program has become, and I wanted to become a part of that family, and I think we've put together an amazing team. And yeah, it's a little weird not seeing Brooks and Ty and Matt out there every day, but I have a new family now. So
How do you feel like connecting with these guys off the court helps you guys play better off the court?
yeah, I mean, it's just how it is with every sports team. I know a lot of times, you might not have the most talent, and luckily we have a ton of talent this year, but being able to have a high level of camaraderie is super important, and that's something we honed in on. In the summer we knew that we had 8 new guys and that we had to develop connections, and something I was super focused on is developing relationships with guys like JR, AP, Max, and the freshmen. So yeah, that's definitely been great.
Thank you.